Hello and welcome back to Author Journey. My name is CJ Anaya, and this is part 3 of how to develop character arcs. For those of you who are finding this video and you did not watch the first 2 parts of this particular series of tutorials, please go back and watch parts 1 and parts 2. Otherwise, this isn't going to make a whole lot of sense, or it will just kind of confuse you a little bit. So these build on each other. Make sure that you watch the first 2. They're not very long. They're about 10 minutes each, okay? So right now we're going to delve into your character's ghost, okay? So now that we have the lie your character believes in, and we've determined the thing they want and the thing they need, it's time to talk about your character's ghost. This also has been dubbed the wound, the flaw, the negative trait by other very awesome writing instructors. So this again is about motivation. In the previous slide, I wanted you to determine the motivation behind your character's want, if you remember that. Now what we want to do is look at the motivation behind the lie, okay? So why does your character believe in this particular lie? And this is probably going to have a lot to do with the motivation behind the want. But you're going to dig deeper, okay? It's much deeper and it's much more compelling and much more detailed this time around when you look at the ghost that's haunting your character. So what ghost perpetuates the lie? Now, ghosts can be big or small depending on the level of past trauma, but just remember that it has to be something that can cause some serious mental self-destruction for your character, okay? So generally, the more traumatic and impactful, the bigger the lie. The bigger the lie, the greater the character arc, because there is so much your character has to overcome emotionally to deny the lie and accept the truth, okay? Now, that's not to say you can't have smaller things, but just remember that the more traumatizing, okay, even if it was a small, tiny thing, but if it affects them so traumatically that they just cannot get past the lie, that's going to be more impactful. That's going to be more compelling. So in my geeky billionaire romance, back to the billionaire romance, what ghost is Audrey dealing with? Why does she believe love destroys and blinds you? Okay, and before the want that she had was due to, you know, of getting rid of this guru, this love coach. It had everything to do with what this love coach's student had done to her best friend. But there's so much more motivating her. There's so much more that she's dealing with. So why does she believe this? Audrey was locked into an abusive marriage to her high school sweetheart for several years. So due to the love she felt for him, she truly believed he would change. She kept making excuses for him until he almost succeeded in killing her. So her love blinded her to the truth and nearly destroyed her. She will never let a man get close to her like that again. Loving someone means giving that person the key to completely destroying her. Okay, so awesome. She's got a huge goal, or a huge ghost, monstrous ghost haunting her. So now this is how you're really delving deep. This is going to tie in with backstory, and it's important, you know, not to just throw everything out there in the beginning, just to hint at things and to keep your reader engaged in that way, rather than, you know, bogging the story down with way too much backstory. But you need to know this. You need to know why, you know, they have this lie in the first place and why they believe in it. So revealing the ghost, there are a lot of different ways that you can reveal this ghost or this past trauma. And since the ghost has to do with your character's backstory, my preferred method is to reveal aspects of that ghost bit by bit. I like to maintain that mystery, but that's because I mainly write romance and fantasy, and so that works really well for those genres. And I simply enjoy revealing things slowly because it keeps readers engaged. So you want to sprinkle that part of the backstory throughout the book so you don't bog it down. I already said that. Due to the nature of mysteries and thrillers, an author might choose to reveal 1 or 2 aspects of the ghost, but finally reveal all of the details at the end. So psychological thrillers are actually really good books to implement this type of tactic, as are mysteries. And you'll notice different stories revealing different ghosts, different things at different times. You can introduce the ghost in the prologue or first act of the book and let the reader experience the trauma as it unfolds. And you see this happen a lot in superhero stories, in origin stories, where we get to see that they're actually really well put together individuals until this event occurs, until this traumatic experience ruins everything and then sets the tone for the rest of the movie, where they have to slowly overcome the lie and the misconception that they adopted at the beginning of the story due to the trauma they experienced. So you can reveal it in the beginning and allow your readers to experience it as it unfolds, and that is also very compelling and pulls your readers in right away. Other authors might only hint at the ghost, but leave the rest up to reader imagination and never fully go into the details. So it simply depends on the type of story and the type of ghost the author is working on. So this is nice. You've got lots of room to play with this. And honestly, you have a lot of room to play with a lot of things. As long as you know the key points that you need to include in a story arc, then you can play with it, especially the backstory. And I always find that this ghost is so interesting and so key to what makes this character tick. So really pay attention to important things, even subtle things, little things that maybe affected you in your life. Consider how you've behaved because of certain aspects of your past that have traumatized you in some way, and then put that on the page. Consider if it's too strong or too small. Can you make it bigger? Okay. So questions to ask yourself: what is your character's ghost? Okay, why does he believe the lie? Is there some notable event that traumatized your character in the past? It can be as huge as abuse or as small as a single negative comment that your character's just never forgotten. If it didn't happen in the past, will it happen in the prologue or the first act? Why does your character hold on to this lie? How does this ghost continually enforce the lie? And how does the truth change him? Can you make your ghost stronger? The stronger the ghost, the bigger the arc. I'm always asking people to push themselves. When I'm helping students and I'm mentoring them and I take a look at their manuscripts, what I love to do is I love to ask the question, can we up the stakes? Can we make this bigger? Can we make this worse? Can we beat your characters up? Some people want to avoid conflict. Don't do that. Don't do that, because the more they have to overcome, the better the story is, the more compelling it is, and the deeper the conflict is within your character, which makes them very multidimensional. And people relate to that because people are messy, emotions are messy, relationships are messy. So push yourself and push your character. Ask yourself if you can go bigger. Ask yourself if you can go deeper, and see where that takes you. Does your story need the ghost to be revealed? Or is this the type of story where you never reveal it? So obviously that will depend on you and how this story unfolds. But these are very good questions to ask yourself when it comes to brainstorming. If you already have your manuscript in place, you have the characters written, then this is a good time to go through your manuscript and ask yourself these questions, because you're going to notice right away whether you're hitting it and you're nailing it or you're not, based on these questions. Okay, so again, you guys know that I love questions because it generates ideas and it helps you pinpoint the flaws in your manuscript, helps you find the areas where it may be weak and where you can possibly make it stronger, or where you don't have specific aspects that you actually need to implement. You know, if you look at your manuscript and you realize, oh my word, my character doesn't really have the ghost, there's really no trauma there, there's really nothing driving them. Maybe there's no lie. So make sure that these elements are in place. And if you're just starting out, then get to brainstorming, because these questions are going to help you figure out what exactly is haunting your character, which will make them stronger characters in the long run as they evolve and come to accept the truth. So like this, if you thought it was helpful, stay tuned for more, because we're going to delve even deeper into character arcs and how it applies to your plot. And make sure that you subscribe if you're new to the family, and we will see you in the next video.